You can't even really... Can you fix that over there, though? How do they do it?
Yeah, the problem was the toilets were right next to the mats, so just trying to get everyone to, follow the rules and wash their feet before they go on the mats. It's just impossible when it's like such a big turnover of tourists. So,
yeah, we're talking about, let me check his name. His mum was actually messaging me about this. So Ray Williams, 18, from Bristol.
From Bristol?
From Bristol State.
England.
England, yeah.
That's where I was born.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fuck, it's crazy.
Yeah.
First trip away, he does MMA jiu-jitsu, saved up all his money, went over to Thailand to train, got staph in his elbow. Elbow swelled up, he was taking antibiotics. I'm not sure what happened there, but he decided, I think his trip came to an end, he was flying home, and at his layover in Malaysia, he collapsed, rushed into hospital. He was incubated in a coma, and his parents were obviously notified. They raced down to see him, but he passed away. So I think the staph became septic.
So yeah, went to his heart, is that what I read, into his lungs, so the infection spread around his body.
Crazy, because like obviously in Thailand, they just had that, I think it was an Australian dude that almost lost his entire leg.
I think that was at Bang Tao, right?
Bang Tao,
yeah. He got an infection on his shin. I had one there as well years ago. And he actually saved his leg though, didn't he?
They saved it, yeah.
I'm not sure if he's going to train again, but...
And I think the guy was anonymous, but he basically funded the guy. Like the guy really took a chance. The guy who was at his leg infection took a chance getting on like a business class flight, so his leg was up and straight, and they got him back to Australia. And I think with skin grafts, they preserved his leg, but he could have died. I think he risked dying to try to save his leg. So I could be wrong about that, but
it's a real problem in Thailand. I mean, when I was there, I got 10 staph infections in 12 months. So I was on antibiotics. Yeah, quite a lot, towards the end, I had to be on the antibiotics longer and longer, and I had to keep changing the antibiotics as well. So that was one of the main reasons I left Phuket, Thailand. So I've been in Canada for about just over 4 years now, and I haven't had staph once.
Haven't had it once.
Not
I had
once.
a similar amount when I was in New York, but I think it was overtraining, like just riding my body into the ground, so my immune system was compromised. But like, depending on where you get, it's dangerous. I remember the kid in California dropped his contact lens on the mat, put it straight back in, got staph in his eye, and he died.
Oh shit.
So it's pretty dangerous thing, staph. So it's pretty scary. As soon as I left New York, went to Puerto Rico, even though we weren't showering after training because we couldn't shower at the gym in Puerto Rico. I don't know if it was the salt water or different bacteria down there, but I didn't get staph at all for a long time.
Yeah.
Change of scene.
Yeah, and the staph you get out in Thailand is like super staph. It's like gnarly. The staph you get over here, you get it over here, so people still get it, but it's not like, it doesn't seem to be the same strain.
It's the tourists. For us at B Team, it's the guys that go on holiday and they've spent so much money to go there. It's the same when people come to a seminar, they've invested, so they don't want to not participate. They'd rather just cover it up, hide it, and be like, I don't know these people,
Yeah, and you're right. It's just about when you're training so hard, you've got a fight coming up or a competition, your immune system, you run it down to the ground, and then, you get staph a lot easier.
That's when I would get it. Overtraining, lack of sleep, like just training with people I don't know. These days, I don't even train. Like, I do these seminars where I train with so many people, and it's like, that is actually a scary prospect. You don't know who's carrying what. It's like at that ADCC 2019, or was it 2022? I can't remember, the one where I had the pink eye.
That was 2019, yeah.
Yeah, so
the pink eye, yeah.
For the record, not the fun bacterial type of pink eye, but the viral pink eye. Did you ever get that, EKC?
No, I didn't get it.
Worst thing.
Yeah, I think quite a few people at the event got it afterwards. I know Mason got it afterwards, but you fought Ben Dyson. He didn't get it, did he?
He didn't get it.
He didn't get it.
He's out in East Vancouver. He's immune to probably many things.
Yeah.
But that was bad because that permanently scarred my eye. It like affected vision permanently.
You can't see the same now.
No, it's not as good as the other eye. That was one of the worst things I could have ever gotten, and it was quite nice to actually give it to Mason Fowler. I think it gave him a permanent lazy eye. Luckily, he doesn't rely on his attractiveness, just his talent. Unfortunately, he's pulled out of CJI.
Yeah, back injury.
That sucks for us. I mean, it sucks for us, sucks for the fans, because he was like top 3. Like, over 80 is much weaker, I would say, than under 80. That also makes it exciting, mismatches, but Mason was top 4, top 3, I think. I think it would have been like Nicky Rod, Victor, basically equal favourites. Mason third. Mason really close because he came close to beating Nicky Rod. And it's like $1 million. It's like, bro, you must be badly injured.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad. I guess for him, though, like his branding and stuff relies on winning. So for him to go out there, if he doesn't feel confident in winning the $1 million, probably shouldn't do it. But it left us in a bad spot to find a replacement. But I do mostly feel bad for him because...
Yeah, he was. He was actually my pick to win. Even though he lost against Nicky Rod recently, like that first 10 minutes, I actually thought Mason was winning. He just made a tactical error in the overtime. But
he messed it up
a rematch could be very different, you know, especially a different rule set in the pit.
Yeah, the 3x5s and then 5x5 final.
But yeah, I was gonna. For me, it was between Victor Hugo, Nicky Rod, and Mason.
But we replaced him with an Australian, Lucas Cannard. Lucas won the Australian trials at 88 kilos. I only messaged him yesterday, actually. We're working on Husma Pajares. Short notice, problems with visa. Couldn't get him.
That would have been great, though.
Curtis Blades volunteered, but obviously what happened with him and Tom Aspinall, I believe he's contractually required after a knockout or TKO to not do anything for 30 days. So those were two really interesting options. Would have been good for views and ticket sales, but we've got another Australian in there, Lucas Cannard. But over 80 is kind of like, I personally feel like it'll be Nicky Rod, Victor Hugo final.
Yeah.
We're actually going to split up the top 4 guys and randomly draw. Probably, we're going to do this in the next few days, who will take the other positions. Because obviously ADCC released the brackets, I believe, on the Friday. And they pre-plan it. So they strategically choose every matchup in the bracket. They do it in a way that they try to avoid rematches and split up the favorites. But I think it's going to be interesting if we just drop the bracket 2 weeks out. Because then the individual competitors are going to start thinking about who they can face off against. We would have already done it, but because Mason pulled out, we need a replacement. We didn't want one guy to draw an anonymous name. Like, I feel like he's at a disadvantage. You know, you'd be pissed off if you were the only guy that didn't know your opponent. But that's how we should do it. So it'll be interesting to see how it lays out. But speaking of ADCC, CJI, where have you been? Because in my opinion, part of the growth of ADCC is due to your highlight reels. That's what sort of inspired a ton of people to pursue Nogi. And you did the 2009?
I didn't do 2009. I did 2011, 2013, 2015, and 2019. I wasn't there for Finland.
No, Finland.
No, I was in Singapore at the time.
2011 was in Nottingham, right?
Yep, Nottingham, England was 2011. That's when Braulio fought Jacare. And that's where I made the very first ADCC highlight, which went viral. And I made the very first Road to ADCC series when Braulio was preparing for Jacare. So that's when I just started kind of making videos around that time.
That was huge. You used the Jezebel's music.
Yeah.
That one, I think, obviously people still watch that today, but...
It's probably my most popular video to date still.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think it was awesome for Nogi grappling, because ADCC, how famous was it in the mid-2000s? It's not that massive, right?
No, actually, to be honest, when I did 2011, I didn't really know much about it at all. It was a friend of mine called Jason Tan put me in contact with Braulio, and he told me he's preparing for this massive event called ADCC. And I didn't know many of the competitors. I didn't really know who Braulio was at the time.
Yeah.
I became good friends with him afterwards, but I remember getting interviews with Hickson Gracie and Cron Gracie and Ryan Hall afterwards, and I didn't actually know who they were at that time.
It's probably better because
it was better that way, yeah.
Yeah, you just focus on filming them based on merit than, I guess,
being a fanboy.
Yeah. But ADCC used to be in Abu Dhabi, and I believe it used to be significantly more amounts of money behind the scenes a little bit. And then I think in the early 2000s, it was in the US. I think one of them was in Jersey. And then 2009 was in Spain.
Yeah, Barcelona in
Yes.
2009. That's where Braulio did his double gold.
And he hit the reverse triangle on Galvao.
On Galvao. And he got it on Janji, but Janji's pec ripped in the absolute final from what I remember. So it wasn't actually tapped to the submission. But he also did the Estima lock on Lovato Jr.
Injured him badly,
and people hadn't seen that yet. That was kind of something new that he just
Braulio
brought out for that event.
Real innovator. And didn't he actually run the ADCC 2011? as like event organizer or something?
I think he may have been involved. Yeah, I think it was called Mazaru. There was like some kind of clothing company that was starting around that time that Braulio was sponsored with. So I think they were helping organize it at the time.
And it was 2011 when Palhares had
Yes.
his run too. Yeah. So
Yeah. Paul Harris. He heel hooked David Avellin. It was was it a knee
the
bar? It was
reset.
pretty horrific. Yeah, and then he heel hooked Lovato Jr. as well.
Lovato got injured again. I feel bad.
Yeah. It was like 2 years in a row, I think.
But I think that he didn't get leg lock for a while after that. So I think he took injuries in both of those.
Yes. Yeah.
Lovato.
Braulio, and then
That's a
Who's
bad.
Paul Harris.
That's a bad run. Hey,
Yeah.
Palhares lost to Galbao in the final. And who was the super fight for 2011? Braulio versus
Yeah,
Jacare.
Braulio versus Jacare. That was a good match.
But it was meant to be Drysdale, right?
Yeah, was it meant to be Drysdale? I can't remember. Yeah, so 2000. Yeah, it was supposed to be. I don't remember. It was supposed to be Drysdale versus Roger Gracie at one point.
Oh, maybe that was
Maybe a bit-
2009. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was that? I can't actually remember who the super fight was in 2009.
Oh yeah, I remember Drysdale pulling out due to injury for one of them.
Yep.
So, but it was then. So 2011, Braulio went on his run, and then 2013 was in China.
Beijing, China. I remember being there. I got there early, and there was like it was literally in like a basketball court arena, and there was no audience. There was like a few photographers there, like a few cameras. I think whoever filmed it lost pretty much all the footage. So I'm like the only guy with
That has
actual
the footage.
good quality footage of 2013.
Was it that anonymous guy, BJJ Scout? Was he there for that?
He was
one?
there. I didn't know, like
don't
he
know
was
who he
filming.
is?
I think obviously from an iPad or something, or from his phone. So he was there. I didn't see him. I didn't see anyone else
We
filming.
never
But
found out who this guy was.
I was actually filming all weekend, and I did not have permission. I just like showed up. I never had permission to film. But then it was the last day. It was Cyborg versus Buchecha, the absolute final. I gone the whole weekend without being noticed, and then one of the guys that must have been running the event, he noticed I was filming, and then he came up to me and like grabbed my camera, and next thing you know, luckily Dean Lister was there with me, and one of the guys that was with this other guy that was trying to take my camera away, he spoke Portuguese, and Dean Lister spoke Portuguese, so he started like talking with him, trying to calm him down, and then he just turns around to me and goes, "Get out of here now."
Really?
So I just got all my SD cards, my camera, and
So
I quickly got out of there, but I missed most of that match, unfortunately.
This was 2013 streamed by Budo Videos.
It was Budo Videos, yeah. In 2015, they actually did. I say they didn't give me permission. They did. I just showed up, Sao Paulo, Brazil, in 2015, and I saw Budo Videos. It was Jake, super nice guy, and he goes, "Hey man, like, I know you want to film. Just don't release it for 6 weeks. That's all I'm going to ask." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, understood, no problem." So they were super cool, Budo Videos. Wish they were still doing it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure their stream back in the day was like each mat had a different price. I'm pretty sure I watched it from home, and I had to buy like mat 1, mat 2, and mat 3. But we got to watch it from Beijing, China. I don't know if it's because of the time I started watching, but you were there for a lot of the really cool moments, like even Gunnar Nelson's moments.
Yep.
You were there for Gary Cron Gracie.
Yep.
That's probably one of the best matches.
Yeah, that's probably like one of the best ADCC matches ever. I was an unknown Gary Tonin, and he almost won that match. And I think Cron Gracie got the tap with like a second left.
Yeah,
And he was down on points.
And that's crazy because who Cron is, he lost to Marcelo twice that year. Marcelo's not in. He armbarred JT Torres that year as well.
Yep. Yeah, he got all submissions in the final. He, I think he guillotined Atovia Souza.
Yeah.
And Hickson was on the side making chicken noises.
Until he shot, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I was speaking to Cron. We almost got him back. He almost jumped in for the
I
under
heard a
80.
rumor, yeah.
Yeah,
That would have been great.
Would have been sick, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think he said he has a fight booked or something. But under 80 stacked anyway. But it would have been cool to have someone like him in there.
Yeah.
And then you were there for 2015. I was there for 2015 in Brazil. I won the trials in Asia.
Yes, I remember. I actually have some footage of your first match with Homolo.
Homolo, yeah.
Just a few clips. And Lachlan was there as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had bad runs because we were the weakest trials, so we faced the number 1 seed. So he had Gilbert Burns, I had Homolo, and at the time I was 80 kilos. Homolo was like staunch.
Yeah.
He had won in 2013 in Beijing.
Yeah, he fought Lovato in the final. Yeah, won on points.
And in 2015, I believe he made it to the final, lost to Yuri Samos.
Sorry, who made it to the final?
Homolo.
I think it was Keenan, actually.
Keenan.
Yeah, I think it was Keenan. I can't remember, actually.
True, actually, Homolo maybe beat Keenan in one of the finals.
Yeah, Yuri and
too,
Keenan in the 88 kilogram final, maybe.
Maybe, right?
Yeah.
But that was still, there weren't many people there. I remember when I found out it was in Brazil, I thought it was going to be a much bigger crowd than it was, but even that crowd was pretty small. But I guess big by ADCC standards at the time.
Yeah, there were some good matches, and there was when Galvao fought Cyborg in the final. Yeah.
In the super fight, right?
Yeah.
And
then Calasanz won the absolute, and I think he won every match by like no points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that actually, some good matches, some bad ones too. Cabrinha, was he still in it for 2015?
He wasn't there, no, he wasn't there for 2015. I remember seeing Tanquino go up against...
Gio.
Oh, no, Cabrinha was there. Yeah, he was there.
Gio, I think Tanquino submitted Gio Martinez. It was Eddie Cummings here in 2015 too.
Yes, I've got footage of Tanquino going up against Eddie Cummings, and he beat Eddie Cummings by points. And then they had a rematch, I think on Polaris, like a few months later. And Eddie Cummings actually had him in quite a number of heel hooks.
I think he injured him, right?
I think so, yeah.
Tore his ACL in one of the scrambles or leg entries. Eddie Cummings only ADCC, I think. No, 2017 for him.
Yeah, he just kind of disappeared after that.
Gone.
He's not even online.
Yeah.
He's just gone. I think he's a professor now at a university or something.
I've tried to get in touch with him a few times. Hard to contact him. Don't think he wants much to do
with jiu-jitsu at all. Wonder if he's still trained.
I think he had some fleeting moments where he'd come back to training, and if he ended up on camera, he'd be like, didn't like any of the media stuff. Because I think back in the day, Jeff Chu even ran his Instagram. He didn't even do it. So Jeff Chu was like in the early days of like running people's Instagrams, taking professional photos and stuff. But yeah, Eddie gone.
Just disappeared. Gone
without a trace. In 2017, Finland. You said you weren't there.
No, I wasn't there. I was actually at the time I was teaching at Evolve. I just got a new job in Singapore teaching at Evolve MMA. I just didn't have an invite or anything. I didn't even think about going that year. But, yeah.
And then you were there for 2019 in California.
Yeah. Yes, Anaheim, California, yeah.
And 2019 is when the now current event organizer took over, Mo Jasser.
That's right. Yeah.
This is where your filming career with ADCC came to an end.
It was after 2019, yeah.
And
things didn't go well after that event. There was a lot of miscommunication, and yeah, it was just weird. It was very strange what happened.
2017 was Flograppling's first one?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then Flo was still there for 2019. Flo came into the sport and enforced sort of the video rights policies pretty heavily.
Yeah, I mean, Flograppling have done a lot of good quality stuff, and they have done some good stuff to make the sport grow, but I think it's just, with a growing sport like jiu-jitsu, it's not good to just all of a sudden just ban all videographers, you know? Because I've been going there for years, you know, putting out these highlights for free on YouTube, which is growing the sport. And with that footage, making videos on Bravo Estima, Cyborg, Gunnar Nelson, you know, and it was boosting their profiles. And then, unfortunately, Flograppling were very, very draconian with their video rights.
And who has the final say, Mo Jasser or Flograppling, on what's?
I really don't know. That's where it got a bit weird in 2019, because I was being told one thing by Mo, and I was being told something completely different by Flograppling. So I was kind of in the middle going, who do I listen to here? You know, I'm hearing two different things.
Because Mo wanted you to make a highlight reel for 2019.
Yep. Yeah, he reached out to me. I was in Thailand at the time, teaching at Tiger Muay Thai, and I just got an Instagram message from Mo saying if I would like to be there to film 2019 ADCC. And I was like, yes, great, yeah, thanks for thinking of me. You know, I'd love to. You know, I was actually thinking of reaching out anyway because I'd like to, you know, be involved. And I remember specifically, I mean, I actually saved all the screenshots. I still have them on the phone, which you've seen.
He's got the receipts.
I've got the receipts, yeah. So he said, right away when he offered me if I'd like to film 2019, I was like, look, will I have any trouble with Flograppling? And he's like, nope, I have in the contract, I've got my own videographer, you have full access. And I'm like, you sure? You know, I don't want any trouble from Flo. He goes, nope, don't worry about it, you've got full access. And I'm like, can I use the footage for some of my own videos afterwards? And he's like, yeah, you can, you know, do whatever you want with the footage afterwards. And then when it actually came to, flew all the way out to California, and then I think it was a couple of days before, all of a sudden Flograppling are giving me a lot of restrictions, you know, of what I can and cannot do. You know, they were saying I'm not allowed submission finishes in the highlight, which is kind of strange. It's like, we're doing an ADCC highlight here. You want a highlight with no submission finishes?
And this is just before you got there.
Yeah. And it actually got a bit weird right before that. I remember it was Ricardo Amendolia, who someone I used to be pretty friendly with, actually. He reached out to me when I was still in Thailand, because they were doing some promotion, like, Stuart, we know you've got some footage of Galvao from 2011, 2013, 2015. Send it to us as soon as you can. And I'm like, what? What do you mean, send it to me? Like, because yeah, we know you've got this footage, just, you know, give it to us. I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I just give Flograppling this footage that I have? So I said, Ricardo, just call me. So he calls me and he's like, so we had a little conversation. He goes, look, I don't want to, his very words, I don't want to be a dick, but we are allowing ADCC to allow you to film. So the way we see it, you should give us that footage. And I'm like, well, no. So we kind of got off to a bad start right away, because it's like, hang on, I'm being hired, ADCC are hiring Flograppling to do the live stream, and they're hiring me separately to do the highlight and all other stuff. So, like, this is completely separate. So, you know, like, I'm not just going to hand over my footage to
well,
you know?
Yeah. And then, but you still filmed there, made the highlight reel.
Yep. So, yeah, after, so I didn't sign anything. I never got paid to do it or anything. So
You're meant to get paid though.
So I was happy with the rights to the footage.
Yeah.
So that's the way I saw it. It's like, look, if I can have the rights to this footage, I can make money from this afterwards, you know, make my little short films of all the different athletes. Like, I had a great idea to do something like Lachlan had a great run. That's a great story. I still want to do something with Lachlan. So that's the way I was looking at it. As long as if I get the rights to the footage, you don't have to pay me, you know. Like, I did actually make some money from sponsor logos in the end, but I never actually got paid from ADCC or Mo to do that highlight. So when I returned, I moved to Vancouver at the time, and I remember it was maybe a week or 2 weeks afterwards, Mo reached out to me. He's like, how's the highlight going? And I'm like, look, it's finished. You know, I've actually finished it. And he goes, oh, let me have a look. And he goes, all right, you're good to release it. And I'm like, well, Flograppling have been telling me I'm not allowed to release it for 90 days. And they're also saying I'm not allowed submission finishes in it, and the shots are not allowed to be more than 3 seconds. And he's like, look, I'm the boss. They do as I say. Like, just release it. So I'm like, Mo, I don't want any trouble here. Can you just call Flow up, get the green light, talk to them and say that we spoke and I'm going to put this out? And he goes, all right, I'll get back to you tomorrow. And I've screenshotted all of this. So he gets back to me the next day and goes, you're good. You can go ahead and release it. So I released the highlight. Next thing you know, fuck me, like my fucking text messages, my emails, I'm getting quite threading in, you know, emails from Flograppling. Very upset that I released this highlight. So I'm like super fucking confused. So I actually call up Ricardo, and I'm like, Ricardo, what's going on? He goes, why did you release that highlight? I'm like, hang on, didn't Mo call you up yesterday to say that we're gonna release this? And he goes, yeah, he did, but you still shouldn't have done it. This is where it gets really fucking confused. I'm like, right now, like what the fuck is going on? So I'm going back, and I actually email, you can see these emails, and Mo email Flo back saying, look, I'm really confused. I spoke to Mo yesterday. He's saying he spoke to you and said it was okay to release. So why are you sending me these, you know, pretty rude and aggressive emails here? And they didn't even address it. And then I messaged Mo and hey Mo, did you speak to Flograppling? He goes, yeah, I did. And I went, well, why am I getting these emails from them? They're really upset. And he goes, the video's done. Forget about it. It's all good. No, it's done. Don't worry about it. I'm like, well, now I'm the bad guy somehow in all this. So yeah, and then it was maybe like that same week or something. I was just on Reddit, you know, and I saw some people talking about the ADCC 2019 highlight, and people were like, oh, it's great. Stuart Cooper's working with Flograppling. They're giving me permission. So I just made one comment. I just said, look, Flograppling did not give me permission. ADCC did. If anything, Flograppling gave me a bunch of restrictions. Someone from Flow must have seen that comment, which is probably a conservative comment. I'm not talking shit, it was the truth.
Yeah.
They must have saw that, screenshot it, sent it to Mo, or maybe Mo saw it separately. Mo screenshot it, sent it to me, and he was very upset at me. extremely upset and basically said, "Do you
Doesn't
think
sound like him.
right?" And he's like, "Do you think you're going to be invited back to ADCC in the future?" And he was sent me, some pretty rude messages, and I just didn't even respond. So I was like, right, that's me. I think that's me done with ADCC at this point. So yeah, I was never allowed back after that.
I don't think I'm allowed back either. Eh? I mean, it's hard to take him seriously. I got messed with him. He's threatened to fight me before, but it's hard to take him seriously because he wears makeup, But unfortunately, it's a big loss to not have you filming these highlight reels because again, it's like the 2011 one's part of the reason a whole generation of people wanted to do.
Yeah, one of the things he said, I was really upset about at the time. I remember speaking to Ricardo. I was like, look, why, what? Who has promoted ADCC more than me? Who's made more videos promoting this event than me? And this is what he actually said to me. He goes, look, Stuart, you made your name off ADCC. So he kind of manipulated the whole thing. It's like, you should be grateful. You're only where you are because of this event. It's like, that's not accurate. I was actually making videos that were very popular before that, so.
It's so true because there's so many weird things about how it's ran. Sheikh Tarnoon started it. I believe Guy Evans is really Mo's boss. He decides who runs ADCC.
Yeah, I met him a few times. Super nice guy. No one really knew who he was. No one knew he existed. He was kind of in the background, wasn't he, all those years?
Good position to be in, always, I think. And then Mo's the guy who's the event organizer who did a good job, so they allowed him to do multiple events. Usually it's different people. But the difference is kind of like, if Mo thinks he's Dana White, they broadcast pay-per-views, they own their own footage, whereas ADCC, whoever runs it, Flograppling is buying the rights to that footage. So it's like, it's such a position where Mo wants to say he's the boss and he owns the footage, but he's already sold the footage on. But he's just like, it's such a strange thing to be in. It's like, who's the boss really? It's like, I guess they pay for the streaming rights, but Mo's not the boss of ADCC. Guy Evans is above him. Obviously, Sheikh Tarnoon above that. So it's a real weird situation to be in. It's also weird when the promoter is at the forefront like that, pushes himself to the front of the organization a lot, above the athletes, I would say.
Right.
Goes on live all the time to talk about things, abuses people. I mean, I will say this, my heart is in the right place for the CJI, but pettiness does keep you working long hours. You know what I mean? You can do a 9 to 5 at a goodwill, but if you're going to do a 12-hour day, some pettiness certainly helps.
So, that extra bit of energy.
Yeah, it's when you think about going to bed, but someone's been a bit obnoxious to you. Obviously, Seth Daniels threatened to kill me. That's who Mo hires to basically run the proper event. Like, he basically puts everything together. Seth Daniels threatens to kill me over some jokes, then I put that on the internet. Seth messages me, says he got fired. I come to find out now he's not even fired.
I heard this as well. He's still working for him.
Still working, still contacting athletes. He's just banned from the event in terms of, I don't think he's allowed to be there, but he's still coordinating everything, still talking to athletes. So to me, it's like, I don't think Mo should be hiring people that are sending death threats to others. And I think Flograppling, as a big company, should probably be insisting that Mo doesn't use a guy throwing around death threats.
Did ADCC Mo ever address this death threat? Did they ever give out a statement?
No statement.
But then when there was this other event with the ADCC Open involving Kieran Kachuk, that is true. ADCC,
some
entities had a lot to say about that.
ADCC staff are allowed to threaten to kill you, but if you are involved in a physical altercation, I don't know what the laws are. I imagine Seth Daniels broke some law threatening to kill me.
Oh yeah.
But I did not go to the police over that.
His Instagram account, was it taken down or did he delete it? It's one of the two, right? I imagine it could have been taken down. Or?
I think here's what's interesting about this whole thing, right? I think he removed it. He just tried to disappear because he was getting so much heat. He even was trying to put excuses of why he behaved that way. But then he removed it. But then the video I made, the algorithm has a problem differentiating whether you're receiving or giving a death threat. So my account went down for a bit because of that particular video. I couldn't message people for 3 days, and it was like, obviously had been reported a ton of times, and I'd probably imagine whoever's taken the most heat for that video is probably in charge of reporting, not wanting that video to be up. I don't even know if it's up now. I remember had a lot of problems. So it's like it's difficult to even publicize that you're receiving death threats.
Have you had any more death threats?
I've had previous ones that are real threats that I'll leave in the background. But yeah, obviously some super angry people. I mean, this could have all been fixed. I feel like the real people that are mad are probably the guys that have like running ADCC tournaments around the world, like the trials and the sort of smaller tournaments that have sort of piggybacking off the ADCC name. And it's like, obviously I don't have any problem with those events.
Yeah.
But obviously the ADCC branding has taken a hit, but there are solutions, you know what I mean? And what we've done is definitely achieved a lot of stuff, because now all the athletes getting show money, everyone's getting paid, the women are getting paid. But
yep, it's already worked. What you're doing, you're already getting people paid, aren't you?
they've already.
Yeah, actually, I love ADCC and I love a lot of the people involved. Like, is it Marco in Finland?
Marco,
Super nice guy.
Peter's cool.
Rafi, and all these people, they've been involved for a long time, and these people are great. It's just unfortunately some of the new organisers that have come in, and I'm not talking shit about anyone. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just telling you what happened. I'm not saying anything bad. It's just what happened.
Yes, the truth.
And unfortunately, sometimes when you tell the truth, it can get you into trouble. So
I've found yeah, I like to tell the truth in a funny way that I can leverage down the line, you know, leverage for my own personal gains. But yeah, definitely, I think new fans of sport need to realize Mo was around ADCC 2019, 2022, and now 2024. Prior to that, different organisers.
And you never really saw these organisers. I heard about them.
You never heard about them. Yeah. Obviously a smaller crowd, but like it's not fair to just say that the sport grew because of Mo. Mo capitalised on a growing sport by giving it a better treatment. But I think like most people, sometimes that power goes to their head and they can become, I mean, it's probably who they are all along, but they can talk to people in a way they shouldn't talk to. They should remember. You know what I mean? Like, again, they're saying to me, hey, Craig, we gave you a platform to do this. Hey, well, who'd fucking trained 12 years to get good enough to utilize your platform?
Yeah.
And then which team of people consistently book me super fights because they know that's going to sell? You know, it's like, it's a two-way street here. All we demanded was that if you can sell 15,000 tickets, you can afford to pay the athletes. Like Joe Rogan's rant about the Olympics fits perfectly well. If you walk into a sold-out stadium, and they tell you they can't afford to pay you any more money, you're asking questions about where's that money going. That's all it's been boiled down to. We tried to do a podcast with him. He said no, he wanted to talk privately. Obviously, he's fucking Al Capone. He doesn't do public interviews. He wants to have a brawl behind the scenes, sending his henchmen to give me death threats. But I don't know how it'll all resolve, but I think as much good Mo's done for ADCC, he has tarnished the name, tarnished its reputation a bit. And the only solution I see would be to make me the boss of ADCC and rescue this organization. We bring it back to Abu Dhabi, back to its roots.
Would you do ADCC again if you, let's say you weren't going to be promoting it, if it was different organizers and different show money? Because you're still in your prime.
Oh, would I do it again personally? Yeah, for sure. For sure. I would love to jump back into it. Right now, I'm so busy with the tournament, it's hard to even find time to train.
Yeah.
But if you have the right incentive, for sure. Like I had considered doing my own division for this event, but in my head I was like, if by some miracle you won and there was any refs, judges' decisions, it looks so fucking corrupt. You know, I mean, even now, if like Nicky Rod wins a close decision in the final, I know what people are going to say.
Yeah, they're going to say you're biased or something.
And if I'm taking heat for that, I will expect some financial contribution from Nicky Rod as payment for the abuse I'll take for the event. I mean, to be honest, like I'd rather compete because running the event's much, much harder.
Yeah, dealing with 32 athletes.
Yeah.
Very hard to organize them all.
People complain that's difficult life. You just need to be selfish and do basically whatever you need to do every day. Like you don't have to worry about anything else. That's all these guys do. Like for running the show, you have to coordinate so many different things. Luckily, like most things in life, it's easier when you're spending someone else's money. So I'm spending the anonymous investor's money to run the event. It'd be significantly more stressful if it was my own. If I had $3 million to give to grappling, it'd be way more stressful. Luckily, it's an anonymous investor.
I never actually gave it too much thought about about the pay. the athletes pay and how it hasn't changed. Because I was there 2011, 2013, no audience, I was in this basketball court. Now fast forward 2024, we're in the T-Mobile Arena and the event is behind a paywall in Flograppling. There's money there.
It doesn't make sense. Because I know, because Mo told me initially what Flograppling's offer was before he tried to go to Fight Pass and then he came back to Flow. So I know that's a significant amount of money. I won't say, they'll probably sue me, but that is a significant amount of money. The price of T-Mobile is a significant amount of money. Those ticket sales are a significant amount of money. And people might say, hey, well, ADCC have invested so much money all these years into the sport. They have, but like the way the event organizers run is like, from my knowledge, I don't think the profit goes back to the Sheikh. The Sheikh's, this is his gift to the jiu-jitsu community. He's not expecting a return on this investment.
Right.
So I don't think he's paying back the Sheikh for years of investment. I think they're just putting on the most expensive production they can instead of paying the athletes. It's like the Olympics. The guy's not getting paid, but they spend $10 billion on the fucking opening ceremony,
Yeah.
It's like...
It was very controversial.
Yeah, it's just where are you deciding to spend the money? And people should remember, there is no show without the athletes, so they should be compensated.
Do you know why they didn't go with you? Because they went with Fight Pass and then they went back to Flow. I actually remember I was on the phone talking to Mojazm. This was maybe a year ago now. And he was saying, it's between Flow and UFC Fight Pass. And I said, hey, man, you want my opinion? The fucking jiu-jitsu community will love you if you go with UFC Fight Pass. And he did, but then they switched back all of a sudden.
Yeah, no one really knows what happened there. I know there were some anonymous troll accounts insinuating some things. None of us know. I wish I knew. I've tried to ask UFC. I've been like, tell me what fucking happened. Why is it not there? Because it makes sense, right? Sheikh Tarnoon was actually a 10% owner in the UFC prior to them selling to WME, so he was a significant owner in the company. He owns ADCC. You'd think it'd make logical sense that if you were the organizer, that'd give you good leverage to get into Fight Pass. Because like you said, all the fans wanted that. All the grapplers wanted that. Legitimizes them. We can pretend to be UFC fighters at that point. But something happened, went back to Flow Grappling. Unfortunately, fans don't really like Flow Grappling. There's not good sentiment around it.
It's not good for the athletes as well, because with UFC Fight Pass, they're actually pretty, they allow other videographers to come in. And with Flow Grappling, it's going to stop people like myself coming in and, following some of the other athletes around, which is promotion for them and helps them get more sponsors, helps them get more exposure. So I just don't think it's good to be having it behind this paywall. And it's very expensive, Flow Grappling as well. UFC Fight Pass is a lot cheaper.
Obviously goes out to a lot more people. I mean, the Flow Sports Network would have to be huge, but in terms of people that are subscribed to Flow Grappling, you'd have to imagine there's more people on Fight Pass. And like you said, it's cheaper. There's less of a barrier to entry. So Fight Pass all round's awesome. Stephen Tetchy, for me personally, has always been awesome to work for. He's the boss at Fight Pass. We would like to have put CJI on Fight Pass, but we really want it to be free to see the numbers. We wouldn't want to see see how many people watch grappling. I think it'll be biased though, because we obviously got me versus Gabby, which is going to draw in from the mainstream. So it might be artificially inflated numbers, because I think the Laranja interview's done enough that people are going to tune in now.
Oh yeah.
Thank God we got Hanada Laranja back, but it'll be interesting to see how many people actually watch it, because you're going to be able to infer from that how many people are maybe subscribing to Flow Grappling. You won't be able to do it accurately, but you'll be able to infer, I think, a ballpark sort of guess how much money Flow maybe make off of an ADCC. So that'll be interesting, very interesting for us to know.
They've just been in a lawsuit as well, haven't they?
Yes,
I remember, they did it with my account as well. I think I only subscribed for a year, and there's like a year later, I remember specifically not selecting the annual,
just they hit you with it anyway.
Yeah, the automatic renewal. And next thing you know, they're just taking out the money again. Did they send
you a check? Because the latest check that got
No, I
sent
didn't
out,
receive it. I heard about this, but I never got one.
They entered into, so I had to speak to my lawyer carefully about how I spoke about this minor victory. It was a settlement for them giving out people's personal data to, I believe, Meta. I believe that's the gist, allegedly, of the lawsuit, but it was like they were able to settle without admitting, You know what I mean? There was like no admission of fault there. But I think if you were a subscriber between 2020 and 2023, you just had to make a claim. And then I think the settlement was $2.5 million. So ultimately, a bunch of people got $90 checks from Flograppling.
Right. I should chase him up about that.
I think it's too late now. I think you missed the window.
I missed the boat.
Yeah, I mean, that's that $90 check being returned up until this year is more than any ADCC competitor ever got for losing in the first day because they get $0 to show. It's crazy when you think about that, when you looked at Thomas and Mack in 2022, and if you lost on the first day,
massive arena, it's perfect.
You got $0 as an athlete.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's when I was like, wow, everyone's here, everyone's watching at home, and then I'd just be like, I got $6K for second place. I was like, something fucking doesn't add up here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like it should grow. I really thought after the success of Thomas and Mack, and then I even thought T-Mobile was a bad choice, but I thought maybe there's something I don't know. He's going to talk about athlete pay. It's going to go up. It has to go up. You can't be at T-Mobile and not raise the prize money. But ultimately, that's what happened. That's where we are today.
Yeah.
Just doesn't make sense.
And now people have been getting, from what I heard, different show money. Some people are getting 2,000, some people 3, some people 5, up to 20 to 100.
Well, here's what's hilarious is they have the ADCC group chat, and as soon as I heard people were getting show money, I heard some individuals were locked down for show money. I publicly said it because it's like, hey, all we asked you to do was raise prize money. Raise it as a whole. Show money, guaranteed show money would be nice, but really the point was we wanted the money to go up basically and exponentially, just like the fan base has. So as soon as I found that out, I just publicly said that some people were getting show money. Then Mo had to go to the group chat and say, all right, everyone's going to get $2,500 to show. So again, mission accomplished. Everyone got flat rate. But allegedly, some of the athletes I've spoken to have got 25,000. Some even offered over 100,000 or taken over 100,000. So it would be crazy. Like, to me, you're crazy as a promoter. If one guy said, hey, raise the prize money, and you said, hey, get fucked, I'm just going to secretly pay people way more money anyway.
Right.
It's just...
And it's always going to come out, isn't it?
It always, people will tell you, you know? Because again, if there's two competing shows, this is why competition's good, because it gives power to the people in the middle. Because now you can have people negotiate against each other, you know? So it's just good for the athlete that there's an alternative, whichever direction they go. It's good for grappling as a whole, because now all the ADCC athletes we've taken needed their spot filled. Now there's more people to do ADCC that never would have been able to do it. Those guys should thank me and give me a cut of their 2.5, I personally think, because I got it for them.
Yeah.
But then again, even that weekend, you can watch both shows. We just pretended like it was on the same time, but we start 3 p.m. Friday and 5 p.m. Saturday. ADCC's 10 a.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday. So you can watch both shows. You can see the finals at least of both shows, which I think ultimately, if you're a grappling fan that can afford tickets to both, you could see everything.
I imagine a lot of athletes wanted to cross over to CJI, but they were actually afraid of the backlash as well. You know? Yeah. So this is, why what happened with me in ADCC and Flow back in 2019. I was very upset about it, and I kind of did want to say something, but I didn't really have any leverage behind me. And people around were saying you shouldn't say anything because you don't have any leverage. It could really backfire on you. So.
I'm too stupid.
And Craig Jones walks in.
I'm too stupid for that, eh? I'll fucking tear everything down. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I've had problems, like my problems with Flograppling is when they need something from you, hey friend, how you doing? Like, everything go good? And then when you need something from them, they're like, hey, fuck you, this is a business, like it's about the bottom line. Yeah. So that's my personal problems with Flow, really. And also part of the reason I think it's hilarious that we're free on the same weekend, so you don't need to pay for any subscription. You could, if you were going to cancel your subscription, because you could watch some great grappling anyway. So you don't even need to pay for grappling that weekend. I'm not telling you to cancel because that has legal consequences, but you could and just watch CJI and make a statement. But Yeah, it is funny. Flograppling have treated me as obnoxiously as Mo Jassim has.
Really?
And I think it's hilarious because it's like my friend who funded the whole thing, like I called this guy from Dubai. I called him just to run a joke by him. I said, hey, I'm going to do a seminar the week of ADCC and just give 100% of the proceeds to the ADCC competitors that lose on day one so that they get paid show money. Everyone that makes it to day two gets fourth place to $1,000. They get a minimum. And I was like, wouldn't it be sick if I raised enough money that losing on day one paid you more than coming in fourth place? Like if I could raise enough money to pay all the athletes. And this guy's like, fuck that. He's like, what's the prize money? He's like, let's just run our own event at the same time. And that's just basically how it started. And that was when I was in Dubai for karate combat. That's basically where the whole premise started. So it's a good message to Flo and to Mo Jassim to fucking treat people with respect, because you don't know who has rich friends that can throw some fuck you money back at you. You know what I mean? So it's a hilarious tale. Seth Daniels even said, if you don't like that we're spending $2 million on T-Mobile, go get $2 million and put on a better event. Bang, done.
So you just went and did it.
Done. And made him so angry, threatened to kill me. Seth's not fired. But don't worry, Seth. If I take over ADCC, you're fucking fired, brother. And Mo Jassim, you're back to being the wristband boy again. You used to take care of the weighing station. I'll give you your job back.
So you're just going to keep him on, but just wristband boy.
Yeah, he's clearly overqualified underqualified for running the event. He's hiring assassins now, you know. But I mean, that's the saga we're in right now. We're 2 weeks out, pushing ticket sales. When do you come in for it?
I may be filming with Gabby a week before, and then
I like the maybe.
Hopefully I'll be filming with Gabby a week before, and then I'll be arriving. We'll probably fly up together a few days before. Yep, and then I'll be leaving on the Monday. So yeah, super excited. I'm so glad you put this tournament, because I just realized, fuck, I'm never going to be able to film ADCC ever again. And
not unless
CJI
I become boss. If I become boss, you're back in.
Yeah, awesome.
That's another thing for ADCC. It's like independently funded. It should be free. I think grappling, at least 2019, 2022, shouldn't have been behind a paywall. It shouldn't have been so restricted. It should have been free. Allow people to make content off it. Allow the athletes to use their content. I think that.
So short-sighted as well, isn't it? I mean, I remember after 2019, I wanted to carry on making these videos, and I reached out to Chris Thompson from Grapplefest and Ryan McGuire, is it, from Third Coast Grappling, and asked them, hey, can I come and film the events? And like, of course. And I'm like, look, this is after what happened with Flow.
Blacklisted.
And they're like, will I have trouble with Flow Grappling? They're like, no. We have in the contract, like, we can do whatever we want. They just do the live stream. I'm like, right, okay. So I go and travel all the way to Houston, Texas to film Third Coast Grappling. And Flograppling are there, and they're actually being really nice to my face. But then as soon as I leave the event, again, I get more threatening emails from them saying that I do not have permission to film these events. It's like, well, the promoter is saying I do, and you're saying I don't. And I double check with the promoters, and they're saying, look, like, that's not accurate. And then with Chris Thompson and Grapplefest as well. That's why how many events have been on Flow Grappling and then have switched over to, is it Fight TV, the app?
Oh, yeah.
Polaris used to be, Submission Underground. A lot of them used to be on Flow Grappling, and then, again, yeah, they're just short-sighted with how draconian they are with the video rights. Yeah, it's not good. I think it's backfired on them at this point. It looks like they have been a lot more. I've noticed they're uploading free content on the YouTube channel a lot more. Yeah, I mean, with the ADCC Opens, Mo Jassim actually offered me a job to create the ADCC YouTube channel, and then I just decided in the end I didn't want to be involved because of what happened in 2019. I just didn't see it going well. I had a bad experience then, so I offered it to a guy called Michael Plaster.
Oh yeah.
Eddie's so guy. I noticed he was filming the ADCC Opens, and I messaged him, spoke to him, and said, "Did you have any trouble with Flow?" And he actually didn't. So maybe they've changed a little bit, but you know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the Opens was actually, it's about the little victories for me. I remember when ADCC was going to be on Fight Pass, I think the first ADCC Open had Fight Pass logos on the mats, but was streamed on Flow.
It was being streamed. I remember turning on UFC Fight Pass one day, and it was on UFC Fight Pass. And then it was also on Flow. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Someone didn't get the memo.
I just love that they put the logos on there, hey?
Yeah.
But the other small victories is the Rotolos. We got the Rotolos. It's hilarious because they filmed a whole documentary series called Roots about the Rotolos' path to ADCC 2024. But now they're competing for us, but they're still putting out the videos. So thank you, Flograppling, for promoting our event through the use of the Rotolos. Appreciate you giving back to the fans something for free.
Yeah.
But thank God we got the Rotolos. Props to Shatri for actually allowing that to happen.
Yeah. I used
He
to
didn't
work
have
for
to
that
allow
guy.
it, yeah. He didn't actually have to allow it, but thank God we got him. That's it, because there's a big move by the Rotolos to come across. That's huge for sort of legitimate.
That's great that Shatri and One allowed that.
Me and Shatri just spoke pretty plainly about it, and luckily it was easy to work. For me, easy. Nothing but sort of no real difficulties on my ends. But the Rotolos, I have to imagine, were offered quite a bit of money to stay with ADCC.
For sure, yeah.
You
Some
have
of
to
the biggest
imagine.
names.
Yeah, some of the biggest names, obviously already legends of the sport, I would say, like already been remembered for a long time. And they said no, and that's the thing. No, not one person of the 32 athletes is getting any more than the $10,001. So the Rotolos are ballers. Like obviously they wouldn't have been offered $1 million, but they would have been offered quite a bit of money. But they bet on themselves. Because obviously if they lose, between the brothers they get 20K. If they lost to ADCC, I imagine they would have got, in terms of backroom deals, significantly more than that. So these are kids that just bet on themselves and sort of saw the light of what we're trying to do here, which is awesome. Awesome that we got that done. That's a big one. Fionn Davies against Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Huge as well. That one's probably, there's going to be a lot of views on that. Mackenzie competes this weekend, fights for UFC. I hope she does not get hurt.
That's right, yeah, because we're not 30 days out.
No, yeah, so I really hope.
Who is our opponent?
You know, I should know that, probably.
Yeah, I didn't even realize she was fighting. I remember filming her Mackenzie way back in the day for 5 Grappling.
Oh, 5 Grappling.
Yeah, worked
Sean
for them.
Fowler, right?
Yeah, that's where I met Ricardo Amendolia, and we got along really well then. But then he turned to the dark side with Flograppling.
He did. Actually, I don't know if I should tell this story. I don't know what the legal consequences of this are, but I'll tell it anyway.
Okay.
We'll see. So Flo wanted me to face Gordon. So we were in talks for that, right? And obviously that's going to be a significant purse for that match. They didn't want to sign a single match deal though, right? So they wanted to sign a multi-contract thing, and they put something together, right? And I ended up agreeing to the terms, I would say, basically, in premise that I was going to do this. And we were trying to book the first match, which was the first bout agreement. And at the time, I was trying to book Yuri Simões. Like, he wasn't one of the names that was on the list, but I wanted to get this thing going. I wanted to get moving on this to progress towards the high-paying Gordon match. And basically, I said to him, I said, guys, I'm busy. Give me like 2 months. I need 2 months minimum notice to like clear my schedule to put in a proper training camp. Obviously, for a guy like Yuri, you don't want to just 3 weeks notice wing it. You know what I mean? No. But they run show to show. Like, they don't have a long-term calendar. It's like, hey, you're either on the next show, and we're not even thinking about what's after that. So there was all this back and forth, and ultimately they didn't even send me the bout agreement until like 3-4 weeks before. And I'm like, man, you left it too long. Like, I'm not doing this now. I'm like, give me 2 more months, we'll do it later. So no bout agreement was ever signed. I was talking to Amendolia, and he was trying to get me to do the event, and he basically says to me, he goes, yeah, we might have some other one championship grapplers on there. And I go, how do you do that? Aren't they under contract? And he goes, well, actually, your contract doesn't begin until you sign your first bout agreement. And I was like, thanks, Ricardo. Appreciate you telling me that little nugget of advice. Yeah. So I guess I'm not under contract. And I haven't competed for Flow since.
Right. So, yeah, slipped up there.
They slipped up. They gave me the out for their own contracts that they were exploiting from one championship, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, Ricardo's been I don't know, company man.
Yeah, like I said, me and him got along really well when I was working with Flograppling. We had really good banter, you know. He got my English banter, you know, he found it funny.
He's Canadian, right?
He's Canadian, yeah. But, you know, unfortunately, like I said, he's a company man, and in 2019 he had a job and stuff but it was just weird, you know, how I'm being told one thing and then, you know, being told something completely different. And then, yeah, it was just weird.
A testament to how no one knows what's going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because luckily we have CJI in, how many days is it? 15 days.
15 days, yeah, coming up soon.
So hopefully Mackenzie Dern smashes it this weekend. We keep that super fight. Hopefully Gabby doesn't have any mental breakdowns. We keep that match. We keep that match going, and we're good to go. Stuart Cooper is back.
I'm back.
Fuck yeah! I think that's good, eh?